بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our reflections on hadith about aql, intellect from Mizan al-Hikmah, actually Muntakhab Mizan al-Hikmah, the selection, which is also available as a scale of wisdom. The last point that we discussed was about hikmah requiring reduction in speech. When someone is wise, doesn't need to speak too much. He can or she can choose when to speak. Many times you don't need to speak. And if you come to the conclusion that you should speak, you can select the best words. So there is no need to speak too much. There was one hadith that I interpreted in one way, and maybe it can be interpreted in another way that I want to add. Towards the end of last session, we had this hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin salam, عند بديهة المقال تختبر عقول الرجال. So I explain it that it's a matter of clarity. When someone can speak clearly, it shows that they are intelligent, which is correct. And definitely, those who are more intelligent, they can first themselves understand better, and then they can explain it better. But there is possibility that here it means also to speak suddenly. Badiha can mean speaking all of a sudden. For example, a question is raised. You have not prepared yourself for that. Yes, spontaneously, without preparation, without anticipating question. Maybe you go, someone asks you something, or there's an interview, for example, they ask you something. Because for preparation, people can take their time, and if you spend, lots of time and read and do research, maybe you can create some good answer or put together some good answer. Not for everything, but the normal questions that other people have already addressed. But if you are going to talk without any preparation, this shows that you have to be very fast and quick in referring to your mind and what you have and put them together and come up with a good answer. So this is also another interpretation. Now we go to the next chapter. ما يضعف العقل. These are about things that can have negative impact on aql. Because human aql is not like something which is physical. If something is physical, for example, if you have a statue, damaging a statue needs some physical attack. So someone takes a hammer and starts destroying the statue. But for damaging intellect, you don't need physical attack. For damaging intellect, intellectual attack is destructive. So, one of the things that we find in our hadith is when someone is driven by lower desires, by lust, by bad appetites, when there is a hawa and shahwa, then aql is very badly affected, to the extent that hadith says, Amir al-Mu'minin said, ذَهَابُ الْعَقْلِ بَيْنَ الْهَوَى وَالشَّهْوَةِ. Aql is gone. Between lust and appetites, aql is gone. Because when you want to do something, and you let your desire affect your understanding. For example, in Farsi we have this proverb, that if you want to marry, don't consult young people, and if you want to buy, for example, horse, don't consult old people. Because if you consult young people for marriage, they are themselves in hurry. Because they also want to quickly get married, so they also push you so that you can get married. And old people are tired, so they want to have something to ride. So if you ask them, is this horse good, or we have to go around and find another one? They say, no, buy this one, because he wants to quickly finish the job. So sometimes people are not patient enough to look carefully into evidence. For any good decision, you need objective examination of evidence, plus you need to foresee consequences. A good decision needs at least two pillars. Careful, objective examination of the evidence, and second, reliable prediction. So, for example, you want to start a business, for example, in this neighborhood, you want to open a shop. So first, you have to put together objective evidence about what type of business you can do, how much skills you have, what type of facilities you need, what type of training, what type of license, all these things. But also you have to predict how many people are going to come and buy from you. Yeah? Is the business going to establish or not? And are you going to be able to meet your costs or not? So you have to also predict future. So you have to have some information about the past, some also guessing about future. Inshallah, I will talk after this hadith about hazm. You have to be farsighted. You have to foresee future. Okay? So you need two pillars at least. Objective assessment of the current situation based on evidence, and reliable prediction about future, again based on information, but also very much based on experience. When we very much want to do something, we underestimate these two pillars. Because I want to do something. For example, imagine from my childhood, I always wanted to have a restaurant. Now, because I very much want to open a restaurant, I don't really inquire, is this going to work here or not? And there are few restaurants around, So no matter what evidence is against my decision, if I want to do something, I will not only disregard the evidence, even sometimes I misinterpret evidence to suit my desire. Yeah? Like someone who loves someone. No matter how much you argue, for everything you say, in the best scenario, he has an answer. And in the worst scenario, he uses your point in his own favor. Okay? Because he wants to do something. He doesn't bother about what is the truth or whatever. So Amir al-Mu'minin says, Zahabul aql bayna al-hawa wa shahwa. Aql is gone. Because aql, as I said, is not something physical. You say, okay, I close the door, I don't let aql go. Aql is not physical. Aql is intellectual, and when you intellectually, with the hammer of lust and desire, you attack aql, aql can be affected. Aql can become very weak, or can even sometimes be totally damaged. Of course, we said aql never betrays, but you can kill aql, you can imprison aql. Aqli maghlub, wa hawai ghalib. In another hadith, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam said, ضياع, not with hamza, with ayn. ضاع يضيع. Yeah? ضياع العقول في طلب الفضول. Loss of uqul, destruction of uqul is in seeking excess. When you are not content and you want too much of something, then aql again cannot be functioning properly, because again you lose objectivity. Okay? Everything has a balance. If you do more or less, it's a problem. Either this extreme or that extreme. But many times, because we desire things, we do too much. Another thing is self-admiration. When I am pleased very much with myself and I think I am very special and no one understands like me, no one is pious like me, no one is intelligent like me, yeah, then my aql again cannot function properly, because you are making an idol of yourself, and aql has to worship this idol. Aql cannot serve in an objective way. You would never be able to understand that someone else can understand better than you, can act better than you. إعجاب المرء بنفسه دليل على ضعف عقله. For a person to be pleased with himself or herself is the sign of weakness of aql. First of all, if your aql was strong, you would not develop ujub. Yes? How can an intelligent person think he or she is the best, or think that I am one of the best? There are so many people in the world that we don't know them, and among those that we know, there are, mashallah, many good people that we cannot even compete. So to think that you are very special and unique, and to be pleased with yourself, to see no criticism, to see that the only problem is why people don't appreciate me. Yeah, as he said in the majlis. So this is a sign of weakness of aql. And then this would further weaken the aql. Because you start with this and then it goes into a cycle. Ujb weakens your aql, and weak aql increases your ujb. Yeah? So it goes very much advanced till you finish yourself. We had this man dakhalahu al-ujb halaka. It would not finish unless you are finished. When you are finished, then it stops. Another thing that affects aql is your friends. If you have friendship and relation with unwise people, with ignorant people, little by little, or sometimes very quickly, you become like them. Okay? Man sahiba jahilan. Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam says, whoever accompanies jahil, ignorant person. Jahil in the sense someone doesn't know, or someone knows maybe even, but doesn't act rationally, because jahl is opposite to ilm and opposite to aql. So if someone accompanies ignorant people, naqasa min aqlih, it would reduce his or her intellect. One of the best ways for progress is to have good friends. In any field, if you have good friends, it makes progress very easy. And God forbids, one of the best ways for shaitan also to control us is through friends. Because with friends, you open yourself, you expose yourself, you are not putting any guard. Because from friend, you don't expect any harm to come. When you are with your enemy, you are very careful. You don't say everything, you don't do everything, you don't go everywhere, because you tell you are with friend. Yes? Even if your friend says that, let's go to masjid, you don't go with with enemy to masjid. Go to, for example, eat. You don't want to go anywhere with your enemy. But friend, no matter where, you want to go with your friend. Yeah? Even if he says, let's just go around without any purpose. With your friend you go. Because you don't think something bad would be told by your friend, something bad would be suggested. So you are totally defenseless with your friends. Unless you are a mature person, that even with your friends, you exercise some level of control. Most of people, when they are with the friends, even the friends, na'udhu billah, some youngsters, for example, say, go and, for example, annoy people. Let's go and press the ring of all these houses. I am not saying something more than this. They do. Let's throw a stone at the windows. Some people do. Let's go and make this flat puncture, the tire flat. So, even, Saint Augustine, in his Confessions, he says that we used to go with friends to steal pear fruits from the orchards of other people. And he said we had the similar one in our own orchard. But with friends, we used to go and just steal. So with friends, you are normally defenseless. So normally one friend takes the lead and the others follow. On the other hand, if you have good friends, one friend joins Jose, brings other people to Jose. One friend says, let's do mubahasa regularly. Other people also do mubahasa regularly. So, friendship is very important. You have one friend who is very regular about his salat, always on time. Little by little, you don't need anyone to give you lecture, just automatically you pick up these good habits. Friendship is very powerful. So if we are choosing Jahil as our companion, then our aql goes down. We become like him. Man sahiba jahilan naqasa min aqlih. Another thing that we find in our hadith, maybe it needs one session to explain exactly what does this set of hadith mean. About mizah. Mizah, if you make jokes. So to have some sense of humor is very good. But if your life becomes humor, that's a problem. If you don't take your life seriously, that's a problem. You can make some funny comments or jokes, but overall, people should know that you are a serious person. If people say, oh, this person is always making jokes, and even when you promise, they say it's a joke. When you say, I'm going to change myself, they say, oh, it's a joke. This is bad, that you lose your seriousness. Ma mazaham ru'un mazhatan illa majja min aqlihi majjatan. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, no person makes jokes, but in the sense of that I explained, unless he's throwing away something from his intellect. My understanding is that if you lose your seriousness, if you want to choose a job, if you want to, choose a subject for a study, if you want to start a business, if you want to marry, if you want to make relation, friendship, whatever, job, you should take it seriously. And if you keep just making jokes and lose your seriousness, then that would be affecting your rationality. Because facts are not decided by us, whether you are happy or unhappy, facts are there. Another hadith from Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam is Man taraka al-istima' min dhabil ughul mata aqluhu. Whoever stops listening to intelligent people, his or her aql would die. In order to keep your aql alive, you need to listen to wise people, intelligent people. Because it's like you have for example, pool, and fresh water has to come. If fresh water doesn't come to the pool, little by little, this water will evaporate and becomes, very unclean and dirty, yeah? But if fresh water comes, it will remain fresh. What keeps you fresh in rationality is company of intelligent people and listening to intelligent people. If you just talk to intelligent people, you are not going to benefit that much. Listen to them. Yes? By talking, we can get some benefit, but most of the benefit comes when we listen. And I was saying a few days ago that it is very interesting that when it comes to ears, they are always open. Allah has not put, anything to close our ear. Yes, it's so always it's open. Even when you are sleeping, it should be open. When it comes to eyes, when you are awake, should be open. But mouth, even when you are awake, should be closed. But we do it opposite. Mouth is always open. Even when we are sleeping, we talk. But ears must be open all the time. So listening is helping if you listen to uqala. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, "Kana ala an yasma' ahrasa minhu ala an yatakallam." Let us test ourselves. How many of us can say that I am more interested in listening than talking? It's very difficult to listen, yeah? Although talking takes energy, but this is physical energy. Listening takes mental energy. Yes? So for us, it's easier to talk than listen. If you want to listen, you have to control yourself. Yes? It's like, for example, suppose there is a, I don't know, for example, like a horse, for example. Imagine if a horse wants to move and you want to stop it. It takes you energy. Yes? Our nafs also wants to run away through thinking or talking. Listening means you want say, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, just listen. It's very difficult. This horse wants to go. You have to tame it. It's very difficult. Yes. Amir al-Mu'minin says in that hadith, "Kana li fima madha akhun fillah." He mentions few characteristics, and then one of them is this. Imam Baqir alayhi salam said something about, again, arrogance, similar to ujb that we had from Amir al-Mu'minin. ما دخل قلب امرئ شيء من الكبر إلا نقص من عقله. Nothing from arrogance enters someone's heart unless his intellect will be reduced. Okay, so if arrogance goes, aql becomes weak. There are some hadiths that I skip because time is over and we have had similar ones. But one thing that completes our discussion is this. Amir al-Mu'minin says, "Kathratul amani min fasad al-aql." If someone has too many dreams, too many desires and wishes, means that this person is not living in the real world, is living in his own bubble world. This is the sign of weakness of aql. The aql is not functioning properly. Because aql needs, as I said, evidence. Based on evidence, aql can function. But if you become unrealistic, then you take things as you like. Then we have some hadith about fruits of aql. What are the fruits of aql? Thamaratul aql al-istiqama. One of the outcomes or fruits of aql is persistence. You would be able to remain on the right path without deviation. As a mu'min who is intelligent, you should be open for positive change. Yeah, we should not be stubborn. We should not be insisting unnecessarily. But this doesn't mean that every day you change everything. There must be continuity. There must be persistence. أَلَّا اسْتَقَامُوا عَلَى الطَّرِيقَةِ لَأَسْقَيْنَاهُمْ مَاءً غَدَقًا. If they were persistent on the right path, we would have certainly given them abundant water, which is knowledge, which is wisdom. Istiqama is very important. Sometimes people study very good, very well for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Then they stop. You don't go anywhere. Continuity and persistence. Even someone who is not very intelligent or someone's memory is not very good. But if you keep working and studying, inshallah, the gate of knowledge will be opened to you. Istiqama is very important. Sometimes people, you see, they embark on different projects. I don't know, have you seen such people? And have other people seen in this this in you also? That we start something and say, this is what I want to do. We get excited. The first few days or weeks we work hard on this. After some time, we leave it aside. Then we start another thing, then we leave it aside. So we have so many incomplete projects. This is a sign of not being very intelligent. Someone who is intelligent, before embarking on a project, thinks about it, consults, collects information, whatever, but then if he or she starts something, tries to deliver the job. Yes, there are exceptional cases that maybe something which was not possible to foresee happens and we have to stop. But it's not good habit that you keep changing. Istiqama is very important. In another hadith, Amir al-Mu'minin salam said, Al-aqlu shajaratun. Aql is a tree. Samaruha as-sakha'u wal-haya. This tree of aql, when bears fruits, the fruits of aql are haya, positive shame, and sakha, generosity. Haya is very important. And haya, we didn't discuss haya here. No? We did? When? Okay. Here, recently? Anyway, briefly, if I can say very briefly, haya is not only, is more than modesty. Haya, normally what we understand haya is about, for example, hijab and dress and the way you treat stranger, your non-mahram. Normally we take it in the context of relation with the opposite, for example, sex and this type of things. Or we expand it to the way that, for example, parents should observe haya with their children and how children should observe haya with the parents, or brothers and sisters should observe haya with respect to each other. These are also very important. But it goes further. Even in our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should observe haya. Yeah, a mu'min should feel embarrassed to do certain things before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, a deep sense of positive shame must be between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or even if you are alone, with respect to yourself also you should have haya. Yeah, for example, I told you once this story that one of ulama, even at home, whenever he was, awake, he was with amama and dress, clerical dress. So some of friends or family members said, Agha, there is no one here. You don't need to be full dressed. He said, Man ke hastam. I am myself here. So even if you are alone, you should be well dressed. Not necessarily your best dressed, but well dressed. Not that, someone is at home alone, they say, okay, I can be half naked or whatever. So this is haya that you should have even with respect to yourself, with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we read our hadith, it seems that haya means a deep sense of morality, that you internally feel that you must keep away from immoral things. Haya even means I should not tell lies, because I feel bad to tell lies. It's a positive internal feeling that keeps you away from anything which is bad. Not only I don't commit, for example, theft, I don't commit, for example, na'uzubillah, adultery, I don't commit, for example, sexual offense or whatever. No, even I feel bad to do ghaiba, to do, kiss or anything bad, because you have developed inside such a respectful, such a moral climate inside you that anything bad disturbs you. This is very important. That mu'min should reach the point that anything bad disturbs him or her. This is haya. How a modest lady, if she goes without hijab to the public, feels terrible. Yeah? It feels very bad. Unfortunately, some non-Muslims don't understand this. They think if a Muslim lady without hijab goes outside, it's like, for example, a police without uniform goes outside. They think it's just like a uniform. There is no attachment to it. There is no deep sense of, feeling. They think it's just change of dress. Everyone should be able to choose what type of dress. But they don't understand the spiritual relation that exists between this lady and hijab. So sometimes they think, for example, to impose hijab or to ban hijab is the same, because both of them are against freedom. I'm not going to talk about legislation or philosophy, but I'm saying that these are two different things. I'm not saying one is okay, one is wrong. I'm not judging about anything, but I'm saying that these are two different things. When someone does not observe hijab, and you say you must observe hijab, you reduce her freedom. But she doesn't feel bad that, I am exposed, or, my honor is gone. But when you ask someone who has hijab to not have hijab, it's not just reducing freedom. It's more than reducing freedom. Yes? It's like, for example, If I ask you to drink water, okay, I am restricting your freedom. So, you must drink water. I'm restricting, but you don't feel bad because you like water anyway. But if I force you to drink wine, and you are a person who doesn't want to drink, this is not just reducing freedom. It means that I'm very strongly harming your feelings and your conscience. You understand the difference? So, a moment reaches the point that it's like a modest lady when you ask her to remove hijab in front of others, how bad she feels. Any haram for us should make us feel like that we are exposing ourselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without proper dress, without proper, honor. This is haya. So haya is very important. In Islam, haya is one of the most fundamental qualities. And no one, I think, is a good Muslim unless he or she develops this inner, a strong feeling of honor and piety. If with the pressure of public condemnation or punishment in dunya or punishment in akhirah, we don't do bad things, means we have not yet made any progress. If I am not committing haram because I am worried people will condemn me or Allah is going to punish me or in dunya they punish me, it still means I am a beginner. Mu'min is the one that if today, suppose today Allah says, I am not going to punish you for any sin. Is your behavior going to change? If Allah says, for example, from tonight, you can do whatever you like, I am not going to register. For a day, for a week, for a year. Are we going to change? Anyone who is going to change means he has not developed haya. He has not developed real sense of religiosity. And if till end of our life we are observing religious requirements because of fear or reward, it means that we have not become mature. And now imagine if someone inside has this self-immunity or protection. Do you think this person can be burnt by fire? I don't think fire can touch this person. Because you have removed anything that fire can affect. Yes? So this is what we have to achieve. We have few hadiths that I leave for you to reflect because alhamdulillah we have mentioned similar ones. Now we go to hazm. Let me see how much. Shall we have a few minutes break and then inshallah we continue? Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.